On August 6, 1945, a bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, killing 80,000 people immediately and 60,000 more within 6 months after the nasty effects the bomb had. On August 9th, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, killing 70,000.
I, Sarah Pearson,
And I, Donny Pooler,
are going to have a debate on whether or not the U.S. should have
or shouldn't have
dropped Little Boy and Fat Man.
Order in the court. Sarah Pearson, please present us with your first piece of evidence supporting your case.
Your Honor, I have here a piece of the Potsdam Proclamation to help plead my case. Part 13. We call upon the government of Japan to proclaim now the unconditional surrender of all Japanese armed forces and to provide proper and adequate assurances of their good faith in such action. The alternative for Japan is prompt and utter destruction. This piece of the Potsdam Proclamation was given to Japan before the bomb was dropped. I believe if they had the opportunity to surrender and they did not surrender at the time, it is their fault that the bomb was dropped.
Donny, do you have a rebuttal? Yes, we were nice enough to give Japan the option to surrender, but were we really? Who is going to surrender a war because someone sends you a letter saying something bad is going to happen to you if you don't? I wouldn't, and Harry Truman didn't think Japan would either. He even logged that he didn't believe they would surrender in his journal. What I'm about to read is Harry Truman's journal. We meet at 11 a.m. today. That is Stalin, Churchill, and the U.S. President. But I had the most important session with Lord Mountbatten and General Marshall before then. We have discovered the most terrible bomb in the history of the world. It may be the fire destruction provised in the Euphrates Valley era after Noah and his fabulous ark. The weapon is to be used against Japan between now and August 10th. I have told the Secretary of War, Mr. Stimson, to use it so that military objectives and soldiers and sailors are the target, and not women and children. Even if the Japs are savages, ruthless, merciless, and fanatic, we, as the leader of the world, for the common welfare, cannot drop this terrible bomb on the old capital or the new. He and I are in accord. The target will be a purely military one, and we will issue a warning statement asking the Japs to surrender and save lives. I'm sure they will not do that, but we will have given them the chance. It is certainly a good thing for the world that Hitler's crowd or Stalin's did not discover this atomic bomb. It seems to be the most terrible thing ever discovered, but it can be made the most useful. This proved that at the time, not even the President of the United States believed the Japs would surrender. I also believe that this is proof Truman wanted to be superior to Russia and Germany in saying it is certainly a good thing for the world that Hitler's crowd or Stalin's did not discover this atomic bomb. He was obviously worried at the time about having more power than them, which is a good thing. They were terrible leaders and even worse people, but at the same time, he had this superpower created capable to end any war anyone started with the U.S. or that the U.S. got involved. So was it really necessary to expose a superpower that could end any war at any time just to end World War II, a war that many believed the Japs were tiring from, and possible to let the rest of the country in on this secret, giving them an opportunity to create one of their own? The first scientist to think of how to make an atomic bomb will agree with me. Leo Szilard was that scientist, and he met with Harry Truman's Secretary of State and advised that the U.S. should come to an international agreement on atomic weapons before using theirs on Japan to prevent an atomic arms weapons race with any other countries, particularly Russia. This is what he told the Secretary of State in 1993. I thought that it would be a mistake to disclose the existence of the bomb to the world before the government had made up its mind about how to handle the situation after the war. Using the bomb certainly would disclose that the bomb existed. According to Sizzlard, Barnes, the Secretary of State, was not interested in international control. Barnes was only concerned about Russia's post-war behavior. Russian troops had moved into Hungary and Romania, and Barnes thought it would be very difficult to persuade Russia to withdraw her troops from these countries, that Russia might be more manageable if impressed by American military, and that a demonstration of Lard could see that he wasn't getting through to Barnes. I was concerned at this point by demonstrating the bomb and using it in the war against Japan, we might start an atomic arms race between America and Russia, which might end with the destruction of both countries.
At the time, Truman was thinking the bomb would save many more lives by ending the war. I don't believe he was thinking what would happen in the future with the atomic bomb, just about what it could end now. Truman was right with the assumption the bomb would save more lives than it killed. There were more than 80 million casualties due to the war. That was before the bomb. If the bomb was never dropped, the war was suspected to last another year before Japan surrendered. That is an average of 13 million more casualties. So the bomb technically saved 12,920,000 lives. These calculations prove that Truman's assumption about the bomb saving more lives than it killed was true.
That was just a mere assumption. Many accounts say that Japan was weak and ready to surrender because of the naval blockades that was set up around the island. If someone were to block everything that you rely on to survive, and all you had was what you could use until you admitted your defeat, how long would you last? Even the chief of state for Roosevelt and Truman believes that Japan was weakened and the bomb was unnecessary. This is William Leahy, Chief of Staff during World War II. It is my opinion that the use of the barbarous weapon at Hiroshima and Nagasaki was of no material assistance in our war against Japan. The Japanese were already defeated and ready to surrender because of the effective sea blockade and the successful bombing with conventional weapons. The lethal possibilities of atomic warfare in the future are frightening. My own feeling was that in the being of the first to use it, it had adopted an ethical standard common to the barbarians of the Dark Ages. I was not taught to make war in that fashion, and wars cannot be won by destroying women and children.
If you believe Japan was weakened and the bomb was not the best option, what else could the U.S. do to end the war? Their next option was firebombing Japan. That would have led to more destruction than the bomb. Also, if the U.S. didn't drop the bomb, Japan was expecting to lose 2 million lives with their blockade around the island. The Manhattan Project employed 130,000 people and saved almost 20 million lives. I believe it was the best option for the U.S. in this case.
I believe the U.S. could have thought of a better plan than the Manhattan Project, which cost U.S. taxpayers roughly $2 billion in 1945, which is equivalent to $23.5 trillion in 2008, 8 years ago. So you're telling me that the U.S. couldn't have thought of a better plan with $2 billion and still saved the same amount of lives without dropping an atomic bomb? With extensive evidence from both sides, this one's in your hands, America. Do you believe the U.S. had a just cause to drop the bomb?